Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Ailani. I am Nur Amira Hanis binti Azmi and this and my partner Wan Shazwi Auni binti Wan Abdullah from Band 6A. We will be presenting our brochure today. First of all, this is the brochure that we have selected to translate. As we can see here, this is a brochure regarding that talks about obesity. This brochure explains what obesity is and how to overcome it. This is the original version, which is in Malay, and this is the one that we translated into English.
Hi, I'm Shazwin and we will move on to the reasons why we choose the brochure. First of all, we believe that this brochure is very educational to the audience. It can help people understand and raise awareness about the causes and avoid them. Secondly, we also believe that it can provide accessibility to non-Malay people. This can help to ensure that this crucial health information reaches diverse communities, not only those who understand Malay. Next, I will talk about the types of translation procedures that we use. First, we use direct translation procedures, which are borrowing, calque, and literal translation. We translate most of the brochure word by word by preserving exact wording and structure of the text. We also prioritize accuracy and maintain original meaning as close as possible. We will make sure to retain structure, syntax, grammar of the original brochure as much as possible. For example, snacks to snack, ketidakseimbangan hormon to hormonal imbalance, and tidak active to not active. However, it can result to awkwardness and unnatural sounding translations. So we also use oblique translation procedures. For this procedure, we choose transposition and modulation translation as both of them focus on conveying meaning and intent of the source text in a way that is easily understandable and more natural. We use this to effectively communicate with the audience. We also try to spark thoughts by presenting thought-provoking questions to encourage readers to contemplate their own thoughts first before continue reading the content. For example, faktor penyebab obesity to what leads to obesity, cara menangani obesity to how to prevent obesity, and lihat bacaan anda di zon mana mengikut jantina anda to determine which zone your reading is in according to your gender. Lihat bacaan anda here does not necessarily means see your reading. Lastly, we will talk about the reasons why we choose that type. Firstly, we choose direct translation procedures to keep the accuracy of the translation as we want to convey the exact meaning and prioritize precision. Secondly, we also choose direct translation procedures to maintain the clarity as we want to make sure it is readable and understandable to the audience, especially if the target audience includes all sort of age, so that older people, for example, can understand easily as there is no complicated words to digest. Next, we use oblique translation procedures to make sure it stays with the purpose of the brochure, which is to promote healthy lifestyle while being casual rather than formal, as formality is often associated with academic translation, which prioritize factual accuracy and the precise usage of complex words. Lastly, we use oblique translation procedures to have the flexibility to translate, to resonate effectively with the target audience, engaging them in a relatable manner that fosters their interest and involvement in embracing a healthier lifestyles. That's all from me. I will pass the floor to Hanis.
While translating this brochure, we found few significant problems that we think might affect the outcome of our brochure translations. Here are some of them. The first problem that we encountered was the ambiguity of the text. One term may have several meanings or interpretations. To identify the terms that complement the word that we want to translate, we need to read the text more than once. It is very difficult to accurately convey the intended meaning in the target language because of the ambiguity. And also we are having problem with the presence of alternative word options during this translation process. A word might have been translated into a number of alternative words, and we need to pick one that was more appropriate. For instance, the word lihat can be translated as see, but in that situation, we want the reader to measure the weight, so we decided that the word determine is more appropriate. Next, another significant problem that we found during translating this brochure is differentiating Direct and oblique translation. The first thing that we do while getting into the translation process is differentiate the types, whether it is a direct translation or not. The three things that consist of direct translation are literal translation, borrowing, and calque. In this situation, we have to read everything more than once in order to make sure whether we want to use direct or oblique translation procedure. Most translation can be literal, but if we can't use literal, borrowing, or calque, we will result into using oblique translation. For example, transposition and modulation. We believe that in order to meet all of these challenges, we must continuously practice our language abilities in order to advance in our knowledge specialized areas and stay informed about the state of languages as they change over time. And we also do not dispute the fact that certain tools and resources can be quite beneficial in facilitating the translation process. That's all from us. Thank you for watching our videos. Bye.